Right now at 10, we're learning more about the woman killed in her Wanakee apartment last night, how community members are remembering her. And a Badger football player is being forced to take a leave of absence due to pending criminal charges. Melissa Kim will bring us the details from sports.
This is News 3 at 10.
Good evening. We start the news tonight in Wanakee, where the Dane County Medical Examiner has identified the woman fatally shot last night. Police say Julie Anderson was killed after a man broke into her apartment. Tonight, the community is holding a vigil to remember her.
Wanakee is just such a special place because we've always supported one another. I've been in a situation myself where the community just rallied around me in a really difficult time. Even though it doesn't take the pain away, it just kind of lifts you up, and I felt that that was important for them.
The organizer you just heard from says she didn't know Julie personally, but she felt it was important for the family to know the community was behind them during their hardest time. Joseph said she was hoping for about 50 to 100 people to show up in honor of Julie and her family. And a 74-year-old man is in jail facing first-degree murder charges in that case. According to police, Roland Jenny shot across his hallway to the neighbor at her teenage son. A neighbor of both the accused shooter and the victim heard gunshots and found the victim dead in her bedroom. As of this afternoon, he and other residents at the complex were still waiting to go home.
It hasn't hit me yet. I have not settled down. So I'm still, my heart's still racing 12 hours later. It'll hit me sometime coming up. Right now, I'm just been thinking about the boys.
Wanakee police say this is the first homicide in 10 years in the village and that it was an isolated event. If you want to help Julie Anderson's family, there's a GoFundMe page set up. The community has already helped raise more than $8,000 in just the past 24 hours. We have a link to that on channel3000.com. In Lafayette County, officials are investigating how a man was fatally shot at a DNR shooting range this afternoon. This happened at the Yellowstone Lake shooting range on County Highway F just before 3 p.m. The sheriff's office says MedFlight was called to the scene, but the man died from a single gunshot wound there. Sheriff Reg Gill said the investigation is ongoing and the victim's name will not be released until family members are notified. Some breaking news out of the University of Wisconsin tonight as a football player says he's been forced to take a leave of absence pending criminal charges. Melissa Kim joins us with the latest.
Yeah, Keely, that player is Quintez Cephas. He's a wide receiver on the team. The junior posting a letter on Twitter around 7 o'clock this evening saying that he is taking a leave of absence from the team indefinitely as he deals with legal issues. Now, Cephas says he could potentially be charged for an incident that happened in April. He says he has been wrongfully accused of unlawful conduct and says he is innocent of any allegations in what was a consensual relationship. We reached out to the Madison Police Department, and Madison Police Chief Mike Koval says in part that they are aware of the statement that Cephas made on social media, but they will not be commenting further until they figure out because it's an open investigation and they are waiting for a decision from the district attorney's office. Now, Cephas is coming off of a season where he led the team in touchdown catches and receiving yards. He missed the last 5 games of last season after he broke his right leg at Indiana. Now, his return to the field was highly anticipated this season. That season, regular season, starts in 13 days, Keely.
So much still that we need to learn.
Yeah, we'll definitely be following the story very closely.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Well, let's turn it over to Dave Caulfield with your first alert forecast.
Well, Keely, we do have a quiet radar once again tonight. A couple of blips trying to form over the past hour or so south of the Wisconsin state line into portions of northern Illinois. But otherwise, it's been a pretty quiet day on Doppler track, which we definitely needed after all the rain that we got Thursday and Friday. Downtown Madison on the Edgewater Skycam, a little bit of fog may be forming already under mostly clear skies. Lots of humidity still in the air. The dew point still well into the mid-60s, 68 degrees and clear skies. That calm wind all spelling out the possibility for some patchy dense fog overnight across southern Wisconsin. Temperatures are in the 60s for the most part, but a little bit closer to Janesville, Monroe, we are still in the low 70s. Dew points a little bit better compared to yesterday, but still humid across portions of southern Wisconsin. 64 the dew point in Madison. We're already starting to see some of that fog forming tonight. We could have it with us as we start off our Sunday as well. Temperatures in the 60s to start off Sunday, then we'll be in the low 80s. I do think any rain holds off until very late on Sunday, but we'll time that out and talk about possible rain totals in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Dave. We're learning more about the woman who died in a crash on I-39 southbound at East Washington Avenue yesterday morning. The Dane County Medical Examiner has identified her as Tatiana Blackburn from Ontario, Canada. Officials say she was the passenger in a Honda Civic when the driver lost control and hit the median just before 5:30 a.m. A pickup truck then hit that car, causing it to spin into the far right lane, where a delivery truck hit it again. The three drivers are expected to be okay. The State Patrol and Medical Examiner are still investigating. The Dodge County Sheriff's Office is investigating a crash on Highway 151 in Dodge County. This happened at around 4 a.m. this morning. The Dodge County Sheriff's Office says a Saturn was hit by a Chrysler while trying to cross over the highway. The Saturn driver was seriously injured and taken to Waupun Hospital. The Chrysler driver had minor injuries. Both the Wisconsin State Patrol and Dodge County Sheriff's Office are investigating. In Rock County, federal and local officials are investigating how an ultralight plane crashed into the Memorial Bridge in Janesville. This happened at the bridge on East Memorial Drive around 9:30 this morning. Police say a 48-year-old pilot is expected to be okay. He didn't have any passengers with him. Janesville Police, the Milwaukee Flight Standards Division, and the FAA are trying to figure out what caused this crash. The mother of a UW-Madison student who died from bacterial meningitis is asking university officials to require a vaccine to protect against the illness. Gail Bailey's son died from the rare but potentially fatal disease in 2002. She and immunization groups sent letters to several colleges asking them to join Indiana and Purdue universities in the vaccination requirement. Medical experts say students have an increased risk of acquiring bacterial meningitis because they tend to share food and drinks. A spokesperson from UW-Madison's University Health Services says they will not require the vaccines, but urge students to talk about it with their doctors. A recent report from the Department of Justice says most victims of sex crimes in the state are teenagers under the age of 18. That study found it's most common for attackers to know the victim but not be a family member. That could include an acquaintance, co-worker, boss, or neighbor. The DOJ report comes as the rate of sex offenses has increased 14% between 2013 and 2017. Republican U.S. Senate candidate Leah Vukmir is making a few stops around the state today, campaigning to unseat Senator Tammy Baldwin. This November, she told people at the Fitchburg Republican Party field office this afternoon that Republicans need to unite to make sure Baldwin does not get another 6 terms in office.
She was in Eau Claire not that long ago, campaigning with Bernie Sanders, who wants government-run, full socialized medicine. Now, can you imagine how much fun I'm going to have debating her on the differences between free market health care and government-run health care? Who do you think is going to win that debate?
Vukmir is a nurse from Brookfield and is campaigning as a mom with a cause. She wants to repeal the Affordable Care Act and replace it with free market solutions. On Thursday, a group of nurses and healthcare professionals protested her healthcare agenda at the Capitol. The Democratic Party of Wisconsin sent out a statement in response to her visit today, saying she isn't on Wisconsin's side. A spokesperson says corporate special interests handpicked Vukmir, and she's, quote, selling out Wisconsin working families and retirees as well as children. The new interim alder for Madison's 13th district says he does not plan to rerun for election in April of next year. Alan Arnson was officially sworn in at a Common Council meeting earlier this month, beating out 11 other applicants. He is a recently retired trial lawyer. In a blog post this afternoon, he wrote that his goal is to serve people in the district as best he can over the next 8 months, but offered to meet with anyone interested in taking over the position after that. Arnson is temporarily replacing Sarah Eskridge after she resigned to take a job in suburban Milwaukee. Eskridge is one of 3 alders who left the Common Council this summer. The Madison Water Utility is asking to increase water rates as part of its effort to recover from its $6 million deficit. The utility filed an application with the Public Service Commission asking for an overall 30% revenue increase. The city says homeowners can expect to see an average increase of $7.40 per month if that request is approved. The last time the utility raised its rates was September of 2015. The State Public Service Commission will hold a public hearing on the rate application at the end of August. Well, a Milton boy with a special passion for trucks had a surprise of his dreams today. Adam Duxter tells us more about that.
Well, growing up, Keely, we all had things we were passionate about, but for Dakota Cat, his passion turned into a reality today, and it was only made possible by his heroes. Most days, you can find Dakota Cat here, outside his Milton home, doing his favorite thing. It's a simple process. Wave, honk, and wait for the next one.
He loves his trucks.
Dakota and his family live next to Milton's busiest street, giving him a front row seat to the action, to wave and say hello to his friends as they drive by.
Just loves, that they're big and they honk for him.
But Dakota's road has not always been an easy drive.
And he was extremely sick baby, the sickest baby I've ever seen. And
Dakota was born with multiple disabilities, and as he got older, his adoptive family did everything they could to help him grow, earning him his nickname, Bubba.
We started to call him Bubba because we wanted him to gain some weight, and it worked. He's a character, he's a fighter. He never gives up.
Bubba sits each day and watches the trucks go by. Recently, one particular truck took note. That's when the driver stopped, got out of the car, and threw a present over the fence.
And I picked up the bag, and the first thing I saw was a little truck. So I went up to Dakota and I said, "Hey, Bubba, one of your truckers gave you a present."
The story of what happened started to spread, allowing drivers from all over the country to put a name and face to the friend they've been passing for years.
And we got messages from folks, from truckers in Australia and United Kingdom.
And for the last month, these friends have been plotting a surprise bigger than Bubba or his family could ever imagine. And on Saturday, weeks of hard work paid off. A birthday party in Bubba's honor, planned entirely by his friends on 18 wheels.
He's an incredible kid. He's had to deal with a tremendous amount. We all want to support him.
Just humbled, speechless with the turnout today.
Hundreds of trucks, thousands of people excited to meet their new friend and wish him a happy birthday, including the man that started it all with that one simple gift.
I grew up with a handicapped sister, so we knew what it was like, what families have to go through and everything.
And for the Cat family, that love and support came in today from across the globe, from their friends on 18 wheels. Now, a couple of things worth noting. Bubba's parents are foster parents and have been for decades, and these truck drivers are also working to set up a school supply fund for Milton schools. And many of these guys hadn't even met Dakota in person until today. But during the time I was able to spend with the Cats and Bubba, it's clear they are incredible people. So what an awesome experience to see Bubba have a very happy birthday celebration today.
Thank you so much, Adam Duxter, reporting for us tonight. Well, coming up next on News 3 at 10, an ancient sport is taking over Monaco Lake for a good cause. We'll take a look at the dragon boat races after the break. Welcome back. It's been 1 year since Connie Gard started an organization to support Iowa County cancer patients. And today, the Iowa County Cancer Coalition is holding its second annual fundraiser. Connie, mother of Badger basketball coach Greg Gard, lost her husband to brain cancer. She started the coalition in his honor. Now, a year in, the organization is continuing to pull in donations that go not just toward medical bills, but for gas cards, babysitter fees, anything the patients need to pay for.
I think cancer affects us all. It's a friend or a relative or themselves personally. There's no money that goes to the board of directors. All of the money is going to the patients in Iowa County.
The organization helps to keep moving the event around the county every year. Cancer patients and their families can apply for funding at iowacountycancercoalition.com. Well, as the city of Sun Prairie continues its downtown cleanup after last month's deadly explosion, one resident is thankful to see this historical library and museum is still in pretty good shape. Now, this building on Main Street right next to where the explosion happened was home to the first settler in 1840. Then it was turned into a library. For the last 50 years, it's been a museum dedicated to local families, including the famous painter Georgia O'Keeffe. The building has 8 broken windows knocked out by the pressure of the explosion, but they are thankful that family heirlooms are still intact.
Very emotional. I can't believe there could be this much damage.
The city says it plans to remove damaged buildings and fill in the basements by August 31st. Road work is expected to start September 3rd. Well, maybe you've been to a shooting range, but a new axe throwing range is hitting Madison today. The Happy Axe in West Madison is celebrating its grand opening. Guests can reserve lanes in advance to learn and perfect axe throwing techniques. Staff says there's no experience like throwing an axe for the first time, and they do have safety measures in place to make sure everybody can enjoy the experience. Well, up in Minocqua, more than 800 people picked up a paddle for purpose today. It's the town's 3rd annual time hosting the Dragon Boat Festival. This 2,000-year-old sport that originated in China is now the fastest growing water sport in the world. Organizers say this was the most participation they've seen since 2016. Now, this year, money raised from the race will support a state-of-the-art tick-borne illness diagnosis and treatment center at the Howard Young Medical Center in Woodruff. Well, just a great day for so many fun activities, Dave, and please tell me it's going to stay.
I think it will stick around for tomorrow, the sunshine, that is. I have to tell you, that's impressive that all those people are in unison. My wife and I tried to kayak over the weekend, and we were going every which way. Yeah. There were arguments. It was pretty ugly, but it's fine now.
I wish we had video of that.
Yeah, well, I'll keep it buried. You can be sure of that. But I won't keep the sunshine buried for tomorrow. Sounds like a good plan. Sounds good. High pressure over us, keeping the bad weather away for one more day. At least that system of low pressures and also stationary front is well off to our south and east. Our next low pressure system over Montana and the Dakotas doesn't get here until Monday. Doppler track actually showing a couple of blips over the past couple of hours, but south of Wisconsin into northern Illinois. It's because there's just so much humidity still in the atmosphere. So a couple of short showers have broken out, but really not affecting too many people. We don't need to worry about flooding or any heavy rain with these systems, although on Monday and Tuesday, a little bit of heavy rain is possible for some of us, so we'll keep an eye out for that. Downtown Madison on the Edgewater Skycam looking at clear skies. The almanac for today, we did actually hit 80 degrees in Madison, so just a little bit above normal of 79. Some other high temperatures, 81 in the Dells, 82 in Lone Rock, 81 in Viroqua. La Crosse made it to 85 and 82 in Janesville as well. Temperatures right now are in the upper 60s for the most part, but a little bit further south we are looking at temperatures still in the 70s. Dew points are better compared to yesterday, so that's the good news. The bad news is they're better compared to yesterday. Yesterday was very humid, so it's still a little bit humid outside, especially for southwestern Wisconsin. We're in the bad hair day section, or I would call it a bad hair night because it's not the daytime anymore, so we'll have to make some slight adjustments to that. Visibility, because of this humidity, is down in some spots, so some patchy dense fog possible overnight. We're already seeing that in Boscobel, where visibility is under a mile. High temperatures for the next week, we will dip into the 70s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with that rain in town Monday and Tuesday. drying out Wednesday and back into the 80s by the time we get into the middle of next week. For tonight, temperatures in the 60s, mild, mostly clear with areas of fog likely. Then tomorrow, partly sunny and warm with some storms possible very late. We'll take a look at that on Future Track. We could see areas of fog pretty likely as we start off Sunday, then pretty quiet on Sunday with temperatures in the low 80s. Then our next low pressure system arrives on Monday. You could see some downpours possible during the day on Monday and on Tuesday, bringing in possibly 1 inch to 2 inches of rain, especially some higher amounts possible a little bit closer to the center of that low pressure system, north and west of Madison. We'll keep an eye on that for sure. We're drying out on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with temperatures returning into the 80s. Then as we head into next weekend, some more showers and thunderstorms could come our way. Temperatures staying in the mid 80s as we head into next Saturday and Sunday.
Looks good. Thanks, Dave. Well, coming up, we're going to hear from UW Badger football coach Paul Chryst on Quintez Cephas's leave of absence. That's next in sports.
Well, as we reported earlier, Badgers wide receiver Quintez Cephas is taking time away from the team to to deal with some legal issues. Now, the junior posting a letter on Twitter this evening stating that he is potentially facing charges from the Dane County District Attorney's Office for an incident that happened in April. Now, he says he has been wrongfully accused of unlawful conduct and is innocent of any allegations that are related to a consensual relationship. Now, Cephas missed the last 5 games of last season after he broke his right leg at Indiana. Cephas's return to the field this season was a highly anticipated one. He led the team in receiving yards and touchdown catches last year. Now, he will be out indefinitely. Cephas had been at practice for all of fall camp until Friday, and after tonight's practice at Camp Randall, head coach Paul Chryst telling us what he knows.
Earlier today, met with Q, and I know he was planning to release a statement, and at this time, really don't have anything more to add to that. Yeah, I mean, as far as football-wise, you know, you got the group, and then you got a young group that, you know, they got to start coming out of the fog.
We also reached out to the Madison police chief tonight to find out what they know. Chief Mike Koval telling us in part that they are aware of the investigation and the parties involved, but because it is an open investigation, they are waiting for further decisions from the district attorney's office and will not be commenting further. We will, of course, continue to follow this story. The Badgers kick off against Western Kentucky in 13 days. Well, as for the Packers now, their preseason winding down, and the next time we will see them on the field at Lambeau, it will officially be the regular season. The Packers are on the road for the remainder of the preseason at Oakland and at Kansas City. So that means just 2 more opportunities for head coach Mike McCarthy and his staff to figure out who will make the 53-man roster and who will not. The Brewers manager, Craig Counsell, getting tossed in the first inning tonight after the umps did not take too kindly to Wade Miley's pace of play. He was hoping to get his players a little amped up because the Brewers, well, they're hanging on to 500 right now. Travis Shaw getting the team off to a solid start tonight, scoreless till the 2nd inning, sending that one out to right field, and the Brewers up 1-0. But the Cardinals coming back with a lot more after that. In the 8th, Christian Yelich, though, trying to get some runs on the board. He does get just one with this solo shot out to center field. But the Brewers do lose tonight, 7-2 the final score. They fall 1 game under 500 since the All-Star break, and they are now 3rd in the NL Central behind the Cubs and Cardinals. We'll be right back.
hoping that the rain holds off until at least Monday.
Yeah, I think so, but a little bit of fog once again possible overnight. Patchy dense fog already starting to show up closer to Boscobel and Lone Rock. For tomorrow, plenty of sunshine. Temperatures getting into the low 80s. That rain visits us starting on Monday.
All right, looks pretty good. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Download the new Channel 3000 app and get alerted on your mobile device the minute news breaks. Wherever you go, be the first to know with Channel 3000.